So about a year ago, I came out to everyone as being transgender, and I didn't have the support from my family, and I was completely alone, and I didn't have a place to live.
Because of the church policy that came out about people in same-sex marriages and the children of those in same-sex marriages, I didn't anticipate those sorts of problems coming up, being recently engaged and planning on having children and planning all these things. And when my family was then being very unaffirming, I had sort of a breakdown and I ended up in the hospital.
So how the Mama Dragons came to be is it started with a Facebook private message thread with, I never remember the number, 7 or 8 of us. And it started with a woman named Gina Crivello, who teaches at American Fork High School and was setting up a GSA and had a child that was really having a rough time. So she got us all into this private message thread, and that's how it started, but then it morphed into the safe place for us to talk about our children, to talk about struggles at church, with family, our hurts, our laughter, our fun, our sarcasm, our swearing.
We all had gay children, LGBT children, and we had that one thing in common. It was so important to have someone that we could relate to.
In the beginning, I remember thinking, there were like 6 of us. I remember thinking, what if there were like 20 of us? And we had somebody in a different state, and we had a kid in crisis, and they needed us, and we could get a Mama Dragon there.
When the Mama Dragons were watching me for that 24 hours, I got released from the hospital. They made sure that they were with me when I was around my mother, and they were there to explain to her how this worked in their lives.
When your family sometimes rejects you, and when you feel like the men that speak for God are rejecting you, there is no higher level of rejection that these kids face.
This information coming from other strong LDS women really opened my mother's eyes up to maybe she should be more affirming of her children.
We have moms that are still attending church that go meet with bishops and stake presidents. We've met with some of the highest leaders of the church. We've run support groups in our local areas. We fundraise. We pull kids off the street sometimes and they're on our couches.
When these Mama Dragons came into my life, I mean, I honestly believe that I am here, alive and happy and well, because they were in my life at such a difficult time for me.
They're your babies, you know, and we're moms. We're moms first. We're moms first.
They truly love people, and they truly love people who are gay, lesbian, and bisexual, like transgender. They love everybody for who they are, and they give their all.
Thank you. From the depth of everything in me, just thank you.
If I were to speak to other parents that have a child that's just coming out, LGBTQIA, I would have to tell them that it's a bumpy ride sometimes, but it is such a gift. These kids are bright lights. My gay child is our oldest. I have loved him the longest of any of my kids. I don't know how to turn that off, and I don't want to.